People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right, we are back from Vegas, baby. We had an amazing time in Las Vegas last week. This whole podcast is just going to be a wrap-up of that. I'm 99% sure, although we have some other cool things to talk about, like Easter and Lana getting baptized and things like that. But
that may be saved for next time.
That'll be saved for the next time that Natalie and I get together, because this is all about Vegas. So we recorded a podcast. We had to pack our luggage and then go that night.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember anything about the trip there? I don't.
What do you mean?
Like getting there. Like, how was our flights? Everything was easy peasy?
Yeah.
Nothing memorable?
Yeah, we got like 2 hours of sleep because we had to get up around 2:30 or 2, and we left by 2:30 in the morning because we had a flight at 5 o'clock. And we got there just in time for boarding. And it was all easy. I mean, we had a layover somewhere. Was it? I don't know where it was. But anyway.
And it's funny, I don't even know where I'm at because it doesn't matter. Because that's not my destination.
Well, I know on the way home we had a layover in Atlanta. I just can't remember where we had a layover there. But anyway, well, the second flight on the way there, we didn't get to sit together.
Atlanta. Was it North Carolina on the way down? Because I feel like we went down and over.
Yeah, we went down somewhere. It might have been North Carolina.
I don't know.
But anyway, we got to sit together on the first flight, which was a short flight. And then for the 5-hour flight, we didn't get to sit together. He was one row up and across the aisle in the middle seat, and I was in the middle seat on the other side. But
I know I remember from that one. I remember it was March Madness, and the people in front of me were so excited because they were going to bet on all the basketball games. And
the guy beside me was going for the basketball games.
And I had 2 large people beside me. So I couldn't let my head fall to the side because I'd be against that person or I'd be against that person. So I tried to put the TV tray down and lay on the tray. But the people in front of me talking basketball, and the way their seats were broken or something, because this guy over here would move, the whole row would move.
Oh, goodness.
So my head was just bobbing.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang on it, this sucks. I couldn't sleep. Tried hard.
Yeah. I dozed a little bit, but I couldn't really get comfortable. So I read for most of the flight. I dozed at first, but then I kept waking up with my neck hurting. I was like, well, I think I'm done. So, but yeah.
We got to Vegas, and with the time difference, we left at like 5 in the morning and got there like
9:30.
Yeah.
It was 9:30 in the morning Vegas time. So we still had the full day in front of us. But we went to the hotel, and of course our room wasn't ready. And we were tired. So we wanted to take a nap. But room wasn't ready. So we went and got something to eat. And
we knew that cool breakfast place next to Penn Teller Theater. We knew about that place. We ate there last time.
Yeah, like Hash House a Go-Go or Hash a Go-Go or something like that.
They put pancakes on a plate that are
bigger
4 times the plate. Yeah, 4 times the size of the plate.
We didn't get that this time though.
We tried to eat healthy, and daggone if our breakfast wasn't $80.
I know, it's crazy.
But anyway, it's Vegas.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I know it's gotten expensive. But we finally got into our room. This lady was real nice because we got a text message of some sort from the hotel, and we're like, oh, maybe our room's ready. And then we did the self-checkout, and it said, no, your room's not ready. But we had been talking to the lady, and she's like, come here, let me see if I can do something. And so in talking to her and telling her why we were there and everything else, she gave us, apparently you have to pay extra for a high-rise room, and you have to pay extra if you have a view of the Strip. And she gave us both and didn't charge us the fees for that, which I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Which, I mean, really, the view is the view is a view. It doesn't really matter to me. But it was
nice for our wedding photo.
That's very true.
We'll get to that later on. But I mean, we were there for Fool Us. We were overlooking a rooftop. And there was
parking
nothing.
lot.
A parking lot and a rooftop.
Parking lot, like where they loaded in stuff. Which how much do you stand at your hotel room and just stare out the window?
It's like a cruise ship. You're not spending time in your room.
Yeah, not much. So, but it was a neat view, especially at nighttime to see the strip all lit up. So, I mean, it was a neat view, and to be that high up, that was fun. But anyway, needless to say, we got to our room and we took a nap, but just for a little bit because we had plans.
We get to go see Mat Franco, our friend at the Mohican Sun, hooked us up.
Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jim Spinato hooked us up, and I told him I wanted a meet and greet with. Oh yeah, he's my buddy, he's my boy. Well, I'll take care of you. Well, he took care of us,
Yeah.
and we had great seats, and we got to hang out and meet Matt after the show.
Yeah.
And Matt's show was great. The production value was great. It was.
We had a good time.
He had a nice setup there. He had a whole crew there.
It was a nice theater.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there was a bad seat in there either. It wasn't like it was humongous, but it was a good size. You know what I mean? Like
he asked questions in his show, like, anybody like America's Got Talent? I mean, everybody was just going crazy. They loved it.
Yeah.
But the end of his show, he says magic reinvented nightly. I don't want to give away the ending, but it put a nice bow on the ending of the show.
Oh yeah.
Which is a real fooler for laymen. It was a great trick for magicians, but laymen would be blown away. Yeah, yeah.
And they were. There was good audience reactions there. So.
And then we Ubered over to Fremont Street.
That's right, we did. I got my first view of Fremont Street. Wes had been when he went to his magic convention back in the early 2022.
But what I tell you, I'm like a moth to the flame. I love the chaos over there. I love the lights. I love the street performers. I'm like a magnet trying to find magic street performers. But I love it so much. And how many times did we go that week? 4 times to Fremont?
I think 3 times. We talked about going a couple other times, but then it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But man.
But it's really neat. The screen above you and I mean, it's beautiful and it's fun. It's a fun place. It's definitely hopping.
And if you shop at the gift shops over there, it's way cheaper than at the resorts.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it's worth it just for that too.
Yeah. We did some shopping. Man, did we do some shopping while we were there.
So we'll have to talk about that at the end, how we packed up.
Yeah.
But after Fremont Street, we got home probably 11:30 at night.
Probably.
Yeah. Their time.
Yeah.
We're on Vegas time. And then Friday, I texted Moxie. Moxie told us, if you need any ends in Vegas and some cool things to do, I got all kinds of hookups for you. Just let me know. All right. Hey, Moxie, I'm on my way. What do you got? Oh, I'm leaving town. Oh, man. But, Dad's got rehearsals today. I'm going to work over there. And then, do you want to come to rehearsals and hang out? I'd love to. Yeah, well, I can't invite you. You have to ask Dad. So I texted Penn, and Penn's like, yeah, come on over. How fun was that? Yeah,
that was really neat to be behind the scenes during rehearsal, to see how they worked and see how a trick that they're working on is going to come out in the end. Kind of, sort of. I mean, you know what I mean?
And oh my gosh. So, I mean, we were there for 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours?
I think somewhere around 2.5.
Yeah. And they worked on this much, 1.5 inches. I'm holding my fingers out, of 2 tricks.
But it was really neat to watch.
No.
They were doing.
But the dedication and if we're putting 3 hours of work into a routine, I have done the routine 17 times.
Right.
They were just working on this piece of that. Amazing.
Yeah. They were trying to get it down right, the specific parts and who's going to hold what, who's going to do what, trying to work it out.
And the stage manager on hand taking notes. What do I need to buy for you? What do I need to get for you?
Doing the lighting, figuring out the lighting and where they had a big screen where how far down or up or
forward or backwards
it was going to be. And they had a lot going on.
So awesome.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, eventually. Oh, well, let's say what happened when we first showed up. Okay. We first showed up and they said, I think Matt said hi to me. And then Penn kind of did the thing where he covers his eyes to look out the lights and says, Wes, what are you doing here? I said, we're in Vegas. We're going to get remarried. And I came here to find out which one of you guys are going to give my wife away. And Penn said, give her away. I'm a keeper. It was a joke. That was it.
Right.
Rehearsals, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then, I'm pitching ideas. It's a brainstorming session. I'm friends with the guys, which is weird to me still. And I'm like, hey, what about this? I can see that. Can you tweak that a little bit so I don't see it? Because I'm in the center of the audience. The sides are definitely going to see it.
Right.
And then another thing, I was like, well, that doesn't work. I hate telling them. Natalie, should I tell them? And I'm whispering to you. And then Teller comes out in the audience. I'm like, hey, Teller, da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, well, Wes has a good opinion on that. That is wrong. We need to do it that way. But I don't want to. I love them so much. They can't do any wrong in my eyes. Right. But
and you don't want to overstep or feel like.
Oh my gosh, I'm invited to watch. So I'm saying, well, be quiet, And then I'm sitting there just like I would normally. I'm putting my 2 cents in. And we got an email that night from Teller. It was such a pleasure having you at rehearsals tonight. Since Johnny died, we don't have, it was really nice to have a real pro out there helping us today. And thank you for all your hard work. Fresh eyes. Yeah. And fresh eyes. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to print that one out and frame that one somewhere.
But you're also forgetting the part where you got to go on stage and play the part of Teller so that Teller could watch and see how it was going.
And Natalie's like, I wanted to take pictures. I wanted to take pictures.
I so wanted to take pictures, but I wasn't going to ask because, I mean, they're working on stuff they haven't put in the show yet. I doubt they want pictures taken of it. So right. I just kept my mouth shut. But I was like, mental pictures, click, click, click.
I'm sitting there playing the part of Teller with Penn. Penn is from me to you. I mean, we were right there.
Yeah.
So awesome. Yeah. So awesome. I'm a big kid and I'm watching Teller watch me play him. It was so awesome. And anyway, just fantastic. Natalie is trying to stay on her diet, trying to do good. We were at the beginning of the week, and then at the end of the week, it just went out the window.
Kind of went downhill.
We'll tell you about that at the end.
Why. Yeah.
But she's chugging her water because she has to drink 120 ounces a day or whatever.
I kept up my water the whole time, but yeah.
And so during rehearsal, she's like, I don't want to leave, but I gotta pee. So she goes to the bathroom. She comes back and she says, I don't like the bathroom. This is the bathroom at the Penn Teller Theater that all the guests use, the one downstairs in the lobby.
Yeah, but there was nobody there. And when I went back, I heard talking, but it had to have been coming from somewhere else. And as I'm going into the bathroom, the toilet flushes. I'm like, okay, somebody's in here. And then I go in and there's just nobody there. I was like, all right, well, automatic flushers, whatever. It just decided to flush, I guess. And I sit down to tinkle, and you know how if you lean, you can see through the crack in the door. Well, if I did that, I could see all the sinks, and a sink turned on long enough for somebody to wash their hands, and I'm looking, and there's nobody there. And I'm just getting a bad feeling. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a ghost in here. She starts getting goosebumps the bathroom
on the toilet. She's getting goosebumps.
So I'm washing and getting out of there. I don't like the bathroom. I don't want to go there by myself again.
So at the end of rehearsals, now I have to go. It's been 3 hours. I've been holding it. I'm hurting, but I'm holding it. Penn offered us, I'm going to go get a soda. You guys want anything? I don't want to bug him. No, I'm good. I'm good. Plus, I didn't want to have to go to the bathroom. And Natalie was in the bathroom when he got him, so he got her another water that she downed.
I drank it. Yep.
And at the end, I'm like, well, I got to go now. Can I come with you?
I know.
So she went in the men's bathroom at the end.
I don't want to go in the girls' bathroom again. It's nerve-wracking.
Anyway. So then after that, I don't even remember what we did for lunch, what we did.
I think we just had dinner that night.
Was that after the show? Do you even remember? I don't remember. I just have shows written down.
My camera was on Fremont, right? And so we went to that place after the show.
The first time you had those
went
burgers?
Upstairs.
That was Friday night. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So we went back to Fremont Street.
Yeah.
And what a difference Thursday and Friday makes at Fremont Street.
Well, when we got there, it was kind of like Thursday night, and then we went and saw the show. The show was at 7. By the time you come out, it was packed. It was like sardines, just people everywhere. It was crowded. It was crazy.
And
But anyway.
and all the stages were
rocking and rolling and really loud.
And we found a restaurant down on Fremont Street that said, you can eat upstairs and you can overlook Fremont Street. Well, that sounds cool. Because when I was there in 2022, I was across the street at the Golden Nugget and they had a little loft upstairs and you could kind of watch. But if that serves food, that'd be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the Friday night shows with the music, that restaurant had the windows open and we were right beside the stage.
We were deaf by the time we left.
There was a speaker literally 15 feet from our head, and it was supposed to be heard down city blocks.
Yeah.
And I turned my head to eat, and my right ear was getting pounded by the speaker. My left ear felt fine, but my right ear hurt.
This one was towards the speaker. And like when you turn, you're like, oh my.
Yeah. So
yeah, it was very loud.
Food was good.
Food was delicious.
We had burgers. We took the bun off and had burgers, but
yeah.
Food was great.
Mm-hmm.
Service. I don't understand how the waitresses can take orders and be normal working in that for hours. I was ready to leave 5 minutes after I got there.
Half deaf. And then even closer to the speakers were there was a bar, and it was a rotating bar. It slowly went around in a circle. And there's 2 bartenders there, and they're stuck by those speakers all night.
Hey, what can I get you to drink? Like having a normal conversation, not screaming.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
I mean, I saw them lean in a couple times to hear what people were saying, but I mean, I don't understand how they're not.
We didn't talk during dinner. There was
barely.
Did we talk at all? No.
Not much. It was so loud.
I said, are you going to eat your ketchup? Because I don't know how to get the waiter to give me more ketchup.
Yeah.
Remember I asked that?
Yeah, I gave you my ketchup. Yep.
I think that's the only thing I asked the whole meal. But it was a great place. It was a great restaurant. Go during the day at that place, though.
Yummy. It was yummy.
Before the band starts up. But then we saw Mike Hammer's show. Now, we've had Mike Hammer on the podcast. I like Mike a lot. I think he's really funny. And what did you think of that show, Natalie?
It was good. He was funny. He did a lot of ad-libbing and just, it's more for adults than kids.
Like, I pick on people in my audience. But he was telling the guy in the front row, this guy must be loaded because look at his wife. And this guy, holy crap.
Yeah.
I mean, just saying he's ugly and just, beating, barraging him.
Yeah. But there were a couple suggestive things, too. So I want to take kids to the show.
Well.
No.
We would. I'd take Lana to it. It wasn't that bad.
Well, anyway. But it was funny. He really, it was a smaller theater, but he connected with everybody and he did very well.
He literally had everybody in that room somehow, some way, either participate or pick on him.
Yeah.
Literally every single table in that room.
Yep.
But he hooked us up. He took care of us, and we had a private table close to the stage. That was his VIP section, and we're all waiting. And Natalie's trying to figure out if she wants to get something to drink or. Does she want alcohol? Does she want this? As we're looking, I see a guy coming towards us. And I'm like, you know how when you have a celebrity that you see and it's out of context, you're not expecting to see Tom Cruise at your local bank. You're putting stuff together. It can't be. Right. Well, coming up and I'm like, nuh-uh. It was daggone Fielding West. Now, if you don't know who Fielding West is, look him up. We're trying to get him for the podcast. But he was with a lady, and I said, do you know who that is? That dude's a celebrity. She was with him. And that was my introduction to him because I said it right in front of his face. And then I was like, did you bring Bob? Bob the Bird? And he's like, whoa, you do know my stuff. Well, yeah, man, I know Fielding West. And we were just talking, had a great time. What an amazing, cool guy he is.
Yeah, he was fun.
I showed you some of his magic, but you didn't see a lot of it.
You went to the bathroom, and so did the lady that was with him right before the show. So I got to chit chat with him by myself. It was an easy conversation, and I never met the guy before.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
But after the show, I said I wanted a picture with him, and he's like, "We'll wait for the crowd to." Yeah, perfect. We'll wait just like you will because we want to hang out with Mike too.
Yeah.
And then we were going to take a picture, and he's like, no, we have to wait for the lighting to be good. I want it to be a good picture. Let's go out here. The lighting's better. And he was taking care of us.
Yeah.
And then we go out there to take pictures of Mike. And then got in pictures with us, and we took pictures of me, you, and Mike, and then we took pictures of me, you, and Fielding, and then we took pictures of the whole
All
group.
4 of us, yeah.
And then he was like, "That's a great picture, but I want it height-wise. I want Natalie, and then Mike, and then him, and then Mike,
and then you.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
I put that on Facebook, and Chesaday said, "Who decided to make it height-wise?" That's Fielding did.
Yeah.
Fielding did. But yeah, it was just a great night. And in those pictures, if you look me up on Facebook and see those pictures, or I'll put them in the Facebook group for this podcast, zoom in on my cheeks.
They're red.
We say that. She says I get nervous and I get flush. I was just talking to Fielding West, and all of a sudden, I felt it.
Maybe it's nervousness and excitement. Maybe the excitement too.
I was
excited.
I was so damn excited talking to Fielding.
Yeah.
Having a blast, and the conversation was so great. Yeah, it was awesome. But Mike was also making me laugh constantly during the pictures. And I'm like, dude, I can't. Oh. And he's like, well, at least you have a tan. He's apparently pale.
It was a good night.
It was so much fun. So then Saturday, the last time I was in Vegas performing on Fool Us, I did not want to leave the hotel.
No.
I didn't want anything to happen. I didn't want to get in a car wreck. I didn't want to get late or get stuck in traffic or whatever. But now I'm so much more of a professional. I was way more laid back, and I was like, hey, what do you want to get into today?
Yeah, so we went to the Strip. We decided we'd just go wandering around, and we hadn't seen the Sphere because it's new. So we went and looked at the Sphere, not inside. I think you have to have tickets to go see.
They were doing a movie or something that day, and the line was crazy long.
Yeah,
but they hold 17,000 people, so they had 500 people in line. It looks like a long line, but nope, that's like the first 3 rows. Yeah,
and the weird thing is during the day it's like transparent, so you see the picture that's on it, but then you can see inside all of the workings.
Looks like a bird's nest.
Yeah, so that was they don't show pictures like that when they're promoting it, so that was kind of neat to see. And then at nighttime, obviously, you cannot see in it. It's just complete screens everywhere. But it was really neat, and it was, we saw up close and personal. The Uber dropped us off there. And then we just went wandering around and checked out, did some shopping, went from hotel to hotel until it was time we figured, well, we better head back, and because you had rehearsal.
And we had no destination. So, I mean, we were just whatever the hotel's closest.
Yeah.
We didn't want to just keep walking, go to a destination.
No, is that the day? That was the day we went and we found the stuff from Siegfried and Roy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was neat. So we went in the Mirage because that's where they were, and
which is also closing soon.
Yeah, that's sad. But they still had things that from the Siegfried and Roy show and from their secret garden that they used to sell. So we got Lana a t-shirt that had a tiger on it, and it said, Siegfried and Roy's secret garden, because we knew she loves tigers. So
it was, I want to say the prices would be like normal prices, but we saw the markdown stickers. It was marked down like 7 times.
Yeah. And they had a bunch of different magnets that were like $1 each. So I think we got one of each kind.
Instead of $7.99.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And then the t-shirt was like $5. And then you got a book for, I think, $16 that used to be
50.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it was kind of sad, but at the same time, it was neat to be able to get the stuff.
Yeah.
Because we never got to see the show live.
Right. Did we see tigers there?
Yes.
We did see their
tigers.
We
went and saw, they still had the secret garden open.
Okay.
And you could go walk through.
I thought so.
And we saw that, but it's closed now. We went to the pool, and that's where, but it was shut off. But if you walked straight back, you were on the phone, so I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
but if you walked straight back, that's where it was. But they had that shut off.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see it. I thought it would have been like, well, maybe we can just walk through and look at what it used to be, but no, you can't do that. So
yeah.
But yeah.
But
that was neat.
We took a tram somewhere, and some guy.
Oh yeah.
Some guy was like, man, this thing's taking forever. And I walked up to him and I was like, well, how long have you been waiting for this thing? He said, a while. And then the tram came right up.
Mm-hmm.
I said, dude, you lied to me. You said this is a long wait. And he said, well, dude, you just got here. I've been waiting a long time. And then they sat down right beside us. And for some reason, I just pulled out a magic trick and started performing for him. And I
Yeah.
said, we're going shopping a little bit, and then I'm gonna be at where are you guys from? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna perform with Penn and Teller in like 2 hours. And they're like, no way. Here I am. Here's whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
You're
we
like,
go-
if you got nothing else to do, you should come see the show.
and then we go into the resort, which they could have went anyway.
Right.
They could have went anywhere down the strip. They went into
Right.
the same resort, same door we went into.
Yeah.
Because Natalie's on the phone doing her Facebook post, so we're sitting at the door.
Well.
And they walk up to us and they said, "We just bought tickets. We're coming to your show."
Yeah, which is awesome. And I wish we had seen them that night, but I never saw them. But who knows where they were sitting too?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. But that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But then we go do the show, and we had a little bit of rehearsal beforehand.
Yeah. So you had to do rehearsal, make sure lights were good, make sure how, where you want the table that has the prize on it. What about a microphone for the volunteer? Blah, 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 blah. And showed him where his dressing room was.
How cool was the dressing room?
The dressing room was nice.
And all the antique pictures of Penn and Teller, like from the early 80s. And
it's neat.
It was so awesome.
Very neat
so
to see.
awesome. I hope we have video of all that. Did you videotape that room?
I feel like I did. Yes, because I said it's rehearsal time.
Okay. I
Yes.
haven't downloaded that footage yet off the camera.
So then I got to take pictures of him doing rehearsal, and they just want to make sure everything was right. Like he had to dress in the clothes that he was going to wear that night, so they knew the lighting was good, and figure out, with him flipping the coins, you want the spotlight or you want this, whatever. And
they have a strong spotlight, and it's like, dude, I need to flip a coin. I do not. Can we do it without that big spotlight?
Yeah.
And they were great. Yeah.
Yeah. So got all that set.
They really wanted to use that spotlight though.
Yeah.
Can we turn it down 10%? No, get rid of that. You have all these lights. Use anything else but that. That thing hurts.
You gotta be able to catch the coin.
Right.
So then I was able to take pictures of rehearsal, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna ask, because all they can do is say no. And so I was like, can I take pictures of just of Wes's part during the actual show? Like, is that okay? And she was like, oh, absolutely, as long as it's only his part. I was like, yeah, I won't take pictures of the Penn and Teller part, but just Wes's part. That's absolutely fine. I'll tell the ushers so you don't get, your phone taken away or kicked out. That's fine. Family can do that. I was like, yes. So I was glad I asked, because otherwise I wouldn't have taken pictures and had that.
And that's where we met Erin, the stage manager. And man, she was so awesome and so friendly,
sweet.
so sweet,
Yeah.
so sweet.
She took care of everything and just was, she was above and beyond, really, really nice.
So then we go and watch Penn and Teller's first 50 minutes of their show.
I got to see the whole thing. So they gave us seats for the night, and so I got to see the whole show, but Wes had to go back, and they gave us a set list of the show and said, when this comes out, you got to go backstage. So Wes didn't get to see the last 3 or 4 tricks.
Yeah.
Because he had to get back so they could mic him, and you'd be all set.
I'm hanging out in the dressing room.
I don't feel like you needed that much time, but I guess they wanted that much time in case something went wrong.
I think it's a union thing. I think the union employees want that much time.
Okay, well, that's fine. But so he was back there. I saw the rest of the show, and they hyped from the very beginning of the show. They hyped Wes's spot up. And Wes at one point looked at me and goes, I wish they'd stop that. They're really building it up. Man.
I gotta follow that.
I gotta live up to this. They need to stop.
Okay. So you're missing one thing. Two things.
I'm sorry.
My guests that night, my buddy Ray Long and Greg Gleason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we had friends come in from out of town.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, yes.
You got to talk about that.
We went to dinner with them. So Scotty was an older magician friend that Wes got to know a while ago, and he passed away in 2020. But we are still, friends, and talk to his wife Wilma a lot, and then she lives up in New York with his daughter Susan and her husband. Jeff. And Susan and Jeff had to be in California for some work. But this was happening a couple days before they had to be there. So they just extended their trip, which was awesome, and came into Vegas to see Wes's spot. So before the show, we went out to dinner with them, and we went to, there's a steakhouse in the Rio, which is like at the tippy top of the Rio, which is really cool.
And next time we go there, we have to go and enjoy that meal, because they have like an outside thing. You can go out there and like on the rooftop balcony, you can take pictures and go out.
Yeah.
I just had to get back to the show, and the elevators at the Rio, they're doing construction.
Yeah.
We're like 15-minute waits. And I'm like, I don't know how much time I need to get downstairs.
Yeah.
And Ray was waiting on me at that point. Ray and Greg were downstairs waiting on me.
Yeah, but they got there like an hour before the show started.
Yeah.
But and we got there like 45 minutes before the show started. So we weren't late or anything, but I guess he felt more pressure. I was fine. I enjoyed my dinner. But
no, but I'm saying just to take it all in, because I was.
Yeah, well, we can go back.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was a really neat restaurant.
Beautiful views. Holy crap!
But you know, it's one of the ones where you want to you don't want to go there every night. It's more expensive. It's a fancy schmancy, we went there because we're like, it's a celebratory night. Let's just live it up. And it was awesome. I really loved it. And I loved being able to hang out with Susan and Jeff while they were in town. And yeah, so then after that, we went downstairs and we met with Ray and Greg, and they had seats next to us and watched the show with us.
So we had the little box couch for us, for the VIPs.
A little booth, yes.
And at my point when before the show started, Aaron, the manager, said, "Hey, Penn's done playing now. They're just waiting backstage. We have 10 minutes. If you want to go back there and say hi to the boys before the show, now's your time."
Sure.
Yeah, I want to go say hi to the boys. So Natalie, I grabbed Natalie's hand and start pulling her. She said, "They didn't say I could go." "I'm saying you can go, honey. Let's go."
Okay.
So we went back there, and Teller, it's just crazy. Let's just leave it at that. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Teller.
he's awesome.
I love Teller so much.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's some secret stuff there. But anyway, and then after we small talk with Teller a little bit, Teller says, I tell Teller, I said, "Look, seriously, we're in Vegas. The kids are at home. We're just living it up this week. If we go to the little married house, what do you call it? The little wedding chapel. Would you really give her away?" And he's like, "I really don't want to drive to the Strip." No problem. I found, just Googling around.
So at first he said, "Yeah, absolutely, but I really don't want to drive to the Strip."
Okay.
So he didn't,
Right.
So he had already agreed. We're like, we'll do wherever.
Right. I found somebody online for $100. They'll come to your mailbox at your house and do the ceremony. He says, "Well, if you're going to do that, just do it on the stage here." That's an option. That's an option.
That's awesome.
Wow. And then he said, "Well, wait, maybe we can't, because maybe the crew can just leave a couple lights on for us." And no, what if we just do it in the monkey room?
Yeah.
We don't care. Yes.
Better. That's
fantastic. Great.
Yeah.
Yes. So we both hug him, thank him profusely.
And he's like, "Tomorrow night after the show." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah.
And we're like little kids, school kids, just jumping up and down. And then, all right, well, bye. I'll see you in a couple minutes. We go down the hallway and see Penn. "Hey, Penn, remember we said that we might be renewing our vows while we're here? Teller's up for it, and we're doing it in the monkey room tomorrow. Would you be a part of it?" And he's like,
"Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah."
Like,
no
that
problem.
was a silly question. Of course. I'm like, "Oh, yes." Because Wes was like, he asked me earlier after they said what they did at rehearsal. He was like, "Seriously, if I asked them, who would you want to give you away? Which one?" I said, "I don't know, one on each side." And he's like, "Well, I don't know. I can do that." Well, it was just like, they were right away. Yes.
Yeah,
and I was like, practically in shock. I was like, this is awesome.
Honey, one on each side might be asking a bit too much. Just be happy with what you get.
Yeah.
But daggone it, both of them didn't say yes right away. Wow. Right. So now we're going back to the theater, and we're, holy crap. And so we sat down, and I said, "Natalie, go tell Jeff and Susan." So she runs out in the audience because they're sitting towards the front of the audience. We're kind of in the VIP section, is one section back, and in a booth.
And I'm like jumping up and down, telling her, and she's all excited. And
I saw her
hugging me.
hold your
I was
hands
like, "Oh,
and like do the girl thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, maybe I could be your witness. We could be your
Yes,
witness.
that would be awesome.
And then, but I'm like, I don't really know if we can arrange that. That's asking them
For
now to
more.
get more people back there. Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't
Yeah.
know if we can do that, but we'll try. Whatever. So then we watch the show and we have a great time. This show is like 90% new material that we hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
Am I right?
I think so. There's a couple things we'd seen, but they had new stuff for sure.
And it was all great.
Yeah.
The one bit they do, the safari that they did this show, what was that called?
The secret pasture.
Instead of the secret garden, it was a secret pasture.
Yes.
That was an old bit that they brought back, but I never saw that old bit.
Yeah.
So seeing that secret pasture sign of wood carving of them out front,
No.
I thought that was just making fun of Siegfried and Roy. I didn't know that that was their bit that they used to do.
Yeah.
But it was great seeing that. I'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're watching the show. And Penn and Teller are talking me up ridiculous. Ray and Greg look over at me and said, "Wow, Wes, you can't buy that kind of publicity." I said, "I know. All right." And I felt like it was like in between every trick. Okay, I'm exaggerating. Every other trick, but it was a lot.
Yeah. He mentioned it 5 or 6 times. He even mentioned we were going to renew our vows the next night backstage, and I was like, "Oh."
He said, "We're going to renew their. We're going to give away Natalie if they're. We like these guys a lot. We're going to be a part of their wedding tomorrow."
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
So I knew that when I went on stage that night.
Did you feel pressure?
No.
Okay.
What I felt was, boy. I knew that I wanted to ad-lib something just to say how much I love Penn and Teller at the beginning of the set. But I didn't want to script it. I wanted to come off the cusp. The problem was the renewing the vows was so new that I hadn't even said that so many times in my head. So in the video, which I'll put a link to in the podcast Facebook group for this podcast, I look for the word marriage renewal or something, but it was a tiny little.
It felt longer to you in the moment than
I watched
really
the video.
was.
I watched the video,
Yeah.
right? So I'm thinking about that. I'm tripping on my words, but I said something to the effect of, "Guys, I can't believe I'm here tonight. This is so amazing to me. You guys don't understand. I found Penn and Teller when I was 12 years old. I've been a lifelong fan. I've become friends with them. I'm on their stage performing for you guys tonight. They're going to renew our vows tomorrow backstage. Holy crap. This is a childhood dream come true, and each and every one of you guys are a part of that dream. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for being a part of this. Let's get this thing started." That's kind of how I started the trick.
Mm-hmm.
There was a snafu with somebody in the audience. I don't know if they were drunk. I don't know what there was. But when I'm trying to get people to do heads and tails, people weren't doing.
Just the practice one to make sure they understood what was going on. Yeah.
And that wasn't going well at all. And
but you dealt with it really well.
Well, so it wasn't going well. So my head, I know my tricks. So my internal dialogue goes to playful and having fun now because I know the trick inside now.
Mm-hmm.
But my brain was spinning. What do I do? What's the worst thing that can happen if these people don't do what I'm asking them to do? What's the worst thing that can happen? And then I make fun of that guy. And then in my head, I can see this guy vividly, but he's not on the video.
No.
But it was like 110-pound biker dude.
Covered in tattoos.
He's covered in tattoos because he has just the biker vest on and tattoos. And he wasn't doing what he's supposed to be doing either. And I'm like, he's a biker dude, so I'm like, he could beat me up. I said, "Sir, I'm not asking you to put your hand up. I'm not telling you to put your hand up. I'm asking you, can you please play along?" And then he did it too. So we're back on track. And then got the girl out of the audience. Everything was great. The trick went great. My only other, if I could do it again, if I could rewind time and do something better in the trick, when I flip the coin, eliminate half the audience, flip the coin, eliminate half the audience, I started pairing them up. This is a 750 seat theater, 800 seat theater. I thought I was down to like 12 people looking over a sea of people. And I probably had like 32 people left.
Yeah.
So you and you, you and you, you and you, you and you,
Took
you
a
and
little
you,
bit of time
you and
to
you.
pair everybody
Holy
up.
crap. You and you, you and you.
Yeah.
You and you, you and you. Now let's go. All right, we got it. All right, now next.
Yeah.
Now it's down. Now it's down. Now we're good.
Right.
But that one time.
You probably could have gone another round before it started
Yes,
to pair up.
100%.
But
100%.
it is what it is.
But
it's totally
if you
fine.
watch the video, I made fun of people.
Yeah.
I was talking about their outfits.
It didn't get boring or anything.
Sir, can you stand up or do something? Are you okay? You're leaning against the wall back. I can't tell you if you're passed out or you're still playing. I was trying to have fun with them.
Yeah. No, it didn't. It wasn't boring. I was just saying it took a while, but it wasn't boring.
Right.
But you could have gone another round or two before you started pairing people up. But it was fine. It worked out great.
And Ray and Greg both said, man, it was great seeing a professional do that trick, because the things that were happening in that audience, it's a live show in Vegas. People have been drinking.
Yeah.
I asked one guy to stand up and put his, play against the person behind you. One of you guys are going to be eliminated. And when he stood up, he kept spinning. He couldn't stop spinning. So I asked his wife to hold him because he was gone. Just asking him to stand up, the alcohol hit.
That's hilarious.
So
I didn't see him.
Oh, he was over here on the right side, right in the front. Yeah. But
that's funny.
But anyway, and Greg sent me a nice email saying it was great seeing a professional handle that crowd, because that was intense.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but that was easy. It was just my brain was going a million miles a minute. Then Penn and Teller come out after I reveal everything, give the prizes away. And the prizes this time, God bless them, was a bag full of Penn and Teller merch. Yep. Now me, I would like to take that thing home. I have all their merch, but boy, why not have two of them? But they had T-shirts and a souvenir program and a deck of cards and in a Penn and Teller bag that has their name on the bag. And they also dropped a hat in there. So nobody knows what they're getting. So I took the hat out and gave it to my Allison, the girl that was calling it. I thought that was decent. I thought that was nice. Yeah. And then I gave the guy the rest of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was awesome. It was so great. And then Penn and Teller come out. They put their arms around me. We take a bow. And as we're walking off stage, Teller whispers, he says, "That's a killer freaking trick." Thank you, Teller. But it went great. It went so great. So that was me.
Good night. It was a good
But guys, you would think that would be the highlight of our trip. But it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't at all. So the next morning, I go back to my hotel room that night, and I'm trying to find that $100 guy that can come and marry us anywhere. I searched and searched and searched. I couldn't find anything.
And I'm telling Wes, oh my gosh, we got to get up early tomorrow and go to the shop in the hotel and try and get a dress. I don't know that they're going to have my size, but I got to try and find something, because we had been looking in the shops a couple days before, and I saw wedding dresses. I saw this gold dress. It was real pretty. I was like, if you're serious, because this was before we even talked to Penn and Teller. And I was like, if you're serious, we can come back and get one of these dresses and I can wear it to the little white chapel when we renew our vows, if we're really going to do it. And
this was the whole thing about renewing our vows. I think it's stupid. I've never thought of wanting to do this. I have never needed to do this. I have never wanted to do this.
Right.
It was just a silly, fun thing to do with us.
Right.
In Vegas.
Why not? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So, and I had seen those dresses and I was like, if we have time, if we're going to really do it, I'd like to be in a dress. And it was just and so then when it was decided that, we're really doing this and Penn and Teller are going to give you away, I'm like, I really do want a dress. So we're going to have to go down there and get it. And then he's trying to figure out how to get, and then he can't find it. And I was like, well, what about this?
So I find a thing online that says you don't need a pastor to give you away.
Not for
renewing. Your best man, not to give you away, but to do the ceremony. Yeah. Your best man can say a few words, because it's not a legally binding contract. You're already married. It's just a nice thing to do.
Right.
And okay, well I'll put that in the back of my head. I'll remember that. Next thing I saw was scripts for what to say during renewal. Mm-hmm. And I saw some scripts that said, "I know you cheated on me. I know I've cheated on you, but we're going to do it right this time."
Oh my.
Holy crap. No, next.
Yeah.
I saw some awful ones. hey, put the rings in your back pocket and then bring them out and give them back to you. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to. No, I don't like that. So I found one that I really like where we put our hands in each other's hands.
And then like that, and then turned.
And we talked about the ring, and then we turned our hands over, which was, I thought, classy. I thought that was cool.
I liked that because you don't, because you already have your rings on. You've been wearing them for us for almost 16 years that you've been married. You don't need to take it off and put it back on. I like that part.
So anyway, I get up the next morning, and our friend, both of them are that we went out to dinner with, the Jeff and Susan that I told you about. They're
still in town.
They're lawyers.
Yeah.
And I know the lady, daughter, one of my best friends in the world. She runs a school for fashion, and she's always in the fashion week in Milan, and she's on. Scotty used to tell me stories about her that she would do fashion week and give speeches and do this and do that. And I'm like,
so she can public speak.
I know she can public speak. I know she's very, very, very smart.
And I told Wes, I was like, why don't we just ask her? Because then we don't have to ask if they can come be the witness. That's how we get her in easy, and we couldn't find the guy for the $100, and then we couldn't find anybody who would come out after 10 p.m. and this was going to be later than that. I was like, ask her if she's willing and see what she says. I mean, she may say no.
Yeah, we found a mobile marrying something, but only till 9:00.
Right.
Anyway, so we call her up and say, hey, thanks for everything last night. I hope you had fun. Yeah, it was amazing. Hey, I have a favor.
Yeah. She's like, what? What do you need?
Would you mind doing this?
And there was silence there for a second. I was like, no pressure. You don't have. She's like, no, I think this is the first time in my life that I've ever been speechless. I would be so honored. I was like, oh, yay. I thought she was like, at first I thought she was like, why would they ask me? I don't want to do that. But no, she just.
and
so I was like, oh, yeah.
And her husband had the best line, because I'm like, are you sure you have time that you can stay tonight to do this? And he's like, well, with all the other weddings she has on her books, I think we can clear out the schedule. Something like that. And I was like, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then we run out, we find a dress. I find a Vegas style shirt. It had like gold.
Yeah, so Matt, because I got the gold dress. I was like, I'm not getting married for the first time. I don't need a white dress, and this gold one's really pretty.
If you watch The Simpsons, I felt like my shirt was something Disco Stu would wear.
But it had gold. It had gold in it. I doubt you're ever gonna wear it again. But it was perfect for that night.
I'm in Vegas.
Because, yes, one, you're in Vegas, and two, the gold matched my dress. So it went really, it didn't look ridiculous. It went perfectly.
Anyway.
So we found that. But yes. And then
so that day we went to go hang out with Ray Lum.
Yeah, we had a whole day already planned. So then we had to throw in buying a dress and a shirt and getting married on bookend those morning and the evening. So
Ray Lum, I love him. He's Illusion Builder. He's been on the podcast before. Ray says, you're going to freak out at my place. You're just going to freak out. What do you, okay. I've seen houses before. What are you talking about? Okay. So we take an Uber to his place. He's got a magic room, very similar to mine, but it even trumps mine. Mine has a secret passageway. He doesn't have one of those, but he also has a sawing in half in his room. He's got an origami illusion in his room.
Yeah.
He's got a freaking orange tree in his magic room. He's got so much magic, and I was just in there, just in awe. I don't know how long we were there. 5 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours. He has a full Iron Man suit downstairs.
Oh, yeah.
All this. He has a Marvel
Wonder
office.
Woman, like, perfectly made. They did 3D scans of Gal Gadot, or however you say her name, and it looks like a real person.
She has a little mole on her neck right there.
Oh my gosh. Her eyes look like they're wet. I mean, it's amazing. It was.
So we have a picture of Natalie like right next to her, face to face, and it looks like two women in the photo. It doesn't look like a mannequin, and it looks better than a Madame Tussauds picture. It really does.
Yes.
Yeah.
It looks amazing.
But he had all this amazing magic posters and autographs and pictures and memorabilia. And he's like, all right, take your time walking up the steps, because both sides of the steps just loaded with pictures.
It took us a good 10 minutes just to get up the steps.
And he said, are you guys done yet? Mm-hmm. You're the one that told me to take my time walking up the steps. I'm taking it all in. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then we hung out with him. We played a little bit of Magic. And then we went to Korean barbecue.
Yeah.
We'd never
He
had
was
that
like,
before.
what do you guys want to eat? And we were like, whatever. It's you choose it. You're from around here. You choose something. We'll try anything. He's like, have you ever had Korean barbecue? No. So we went to a Korean barbecue place. It was very yummy.
You have to cook the food
yeah
on your own table. They bring you out the meat and you have to cook it. He cooked everything for us.
He was like, I'll cook. I'm like, okay, I'll let you cook. I'm on vacation. I don't want to cook. So I can say that. That's what I was thinking.
It was so good.
But yeah, it was yummy. It was really, really good. I was stuffed when we left.
Yeah, it was good food.
And
then we went to go see Piff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah.
Piff is so funny.
Yep.
The thing that I will never ever forget, and you know how some of these things are impromptu, and like Mike Hammer's show, it happened that day, and it'll never happen again.
Yeah.
This might happen a lot in his shows, but I don't know. He had a lady in his show that was a preschool teacher,
but she was an older lady.
I'd say
she was in her 60s or 70s,
and she was drunk.
She's having a good time.
And he made something vanish and reappear in Jell-O. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want to vanish anything. Yeah. But it was a big old thing of Jell-O,
like a old Jell-O mold.
Right. Huge. A foot and a half by a foot tall.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Probably like this.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he said, do a dragon claw, 3 fingers, so pointer finger, middle finger, and thumb, if you're listening, and just rip off a hunk of it. And she did. And he said, put it in your pocket. And she didn't think about it. She just took that. And it was bulging out of her. You just saw the bulge in her pocket for the rest of the show.
Nobody's ever done that before. I don't know if that's true or if people really do put it in their pocket. I wouldn't have put it in my pocket. I'd been like, no, thank you, and like dropped it on the floor. She stuffed it in her pocket.
Like,
and for the
kept
rest
stuffing it.
of the show, she had this huge bulge in her pocket. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
But once again, so my favorite parts was that Penn introduces him at the beginning of the show. I'm like, that's Penn's voice. That's Penn's voice.
Yeah.
But he comes in flying. He flies into the audience, onto the stage.
Yeah.
Classic Piff. I mean, if you know Piff's show, if you know his stuff, and Ray's nudging me, I built that. You see that? That's mine. I made that. I made that. That's mine.
It was fun. It was so much entertaining.
Fun. And having Ray right beside me, pointing out stuff.
Yeah,
I made that.
That was neat.
It was awesome. Awesome.
And before the show, they told you to email this email address for a chance to win a stuffed Mr. Piffles.
You didn't have to bring this up.
Oh, yes, they did.
It hurts.
Oh, Wes actually won. I was like, oh, that's so great. You could give it to Lana because that's her favorite part, because we talked to her and told her we were going to Piff's show. And she was like, oh, I like the dog. I like Mr. Piffles. And I was like, yeah, you can give her Mr. Piffles. And he was like, what do you mean? Mr.
I won
Piffles is for me. I said, oh, come on, Wes. Give her to your 12-year-old daughter. She can have a Mr. Piffles.
I won it.
Lana got Mr. Piffles. And she was so excited. She saw and she goes, oh! She loved it. Come on.
So when I was at Penn Teller's show, the night that I was performing, I went up there and I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I bought her that sweatshirt she's wearing. And the lady at the booth, I'm telling her, I said, they've the management there and everybody there has been so kind to me. They've given me stuff before. And the lady's like, well, just call. They'll probably just give it to you now. I don't want to
keep asking.
I don't because I love it so much. I love it.
We don't want to take advantage.
And
we don't want to be moochers.
And Greg and I'm like, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. Here's the credit card, Natalie. Pay it, because I'm talking to Greg and Ray and trying to do both at the same time. And Greg and Ray are just sitting back there. You're such a tourist. So I go to Piff's show and I'm buying a poster. I'm buying a deck of cards. I bought 2 posters, deck of cards. But I wasn't going to buy another Piffles because I won one. I figured I could win that argument, but I didn't.
Nope.
She gave it to the kid.
Yeah.
But once again, Ray's like, you're a tourist.
Yeah. Well.
So we got an autograph line. Oh my gosh, the autograph line. Piff's real name is John. So everybody said, hey Piff, hey Piff, hey Piff. You say the word John next to him, his neck just spins around because this is somebody I know, right?
Yeah.
And Ray is saying, hey John. And he turned around, hey, Ray, hey, how are you? Hey, Wes is marrying Penn tonight. And he said, what?
No.
I said, no.
Don't let the rumor mill start. Hold on. This is what's really happening.
No, we're getting married. and Penn and Teller giving her away. That makes much more sense. But the way he said, what? It was so awesome. So funny. I'm like, Ray, you're an idiot. I love you, Ray, but that's the worst way you could have said that, Ray. So funny. So that's probably the funniest thing that happened all week.
Yeah,
Wes is marrying Penn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
so then we had to go straight back to the Rio because we had to renew our vows.
So then we go back to the hotel, we change, and we run downstairs to catch. I get to watch the last 4 tricks that I missed the night before, which were amazing, great.
Yeah. And then we got to go backstage after the show.
And we go backstage, and Penn's like, all right, so what are we doing? How are we doing this?
Yeah.
I said, like in a regular wedding, the father gives I know that, Wes. What do you want me to do?
Where was
sorry,
where we going?
sorry, I didn't know.
It wasn't that gruff.
No,
he was just,
I
He
don't
just
know.
wanted to know. They were taking it serious. And
they really did.
Yeah, they did. And they were like, I'm so sorry, we couldn't stay in our suits. When they take off the mics, they have to take the suits. And I was like, it's fine. It's okay.
It was a union thing.
It's okay. And
Teller the night before is always in like biker shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, running shorts. Yeah, and a t-shirt.
Basketball shorts.
Whatever. And so I was kind of halfway expecting him to be in that. But he planned ahead and he brought a pair of jeans and a nice suit jacket. And I was like, oh my goodness. I thought that was really sweet. And Penn had on long pants and he had on like a kind of something like this where it zipped up. It was fine.
It's a Penn sweatshirt that he gives to his friend.
Well, yeah, but I just
a zip up sweatshirt.
I was like, this is great. It's wonderful. You could have shown up in running shorts. I'd still be happy. But I thought it was really sweet that,
And we honestly talked and we were like, hey, they might just give you away and leave because they have friends in the other room that's hanging out with them that night after the show.
They have other stuff to do.
They might run.
I don't know. No.
Oh my gosh. They stood there and they had their hands behind their backs and
they were smiling the whole time when we watched the video later because I was paying attention to Wes at this point. But later when we watched the video, they're smiling the whole time. It was so sweet. And I thought it was awesome because when you're backstage with Teller, he talks. But they stayed true to character when they gave me away because Susan said, who gives Natalie to whatever she said. And it was great. Penn goes, Penn and Teller do us. And Teller just goes.
And he does this. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's so perfect. So it was great.
Awesome. It was awesome. Yeah. And then afterwards, he was really complimentary to Susan because Susan wrote some.
She made it very personal. She personalized everything.
But she also she was reading Hiding the Elephant by Jim Steinmeier on the plane ride.
Yeah.
And the prelude to the book, the introduction to the book, what is it called? Forward?
Yes, there
was
you go.
By Teller.
You said prelude and you messed me up.
Was by Teller. And she quoted that during he's like, wow, that was really, wow. Because he was expecting the $99 guy that I told him about.
Yeah.
And
it was great.
That was so great.
So Susan officiated. Her husband Jeff took 2 bajillion and 1 photos, which I loved. And then Ray stuck around and did video for us.
God bless him.
So awesome. So we have pictures, video, and just wonderful memories. And it was awesome. That was the highlight of the trip. It was great. We have 2 minutes left.
So amazing. We're going to go over a little bit today. We're going to go a little bit over.
Yeah.
But holy crap. The next day we get up to go. So we were thinking this wedding thing and renewing the vows. It was just silly. I love my wife more than anything. If you watch the stuff where she's in the hospital, you see me crying, telling you guys how much I love my wife. Yeah. Somebody talked about my podcast and said, the podcast it's about how much Wes loves Natalie.
Aww.
That's what Jason Simmons said. That's what the podcast is about. How much Wes loves Natalie.
Aww.
It's my magic life. But anyway, so
we didn't need to renew our vows, but this was something that was like, we're in Vegas on our own. We've been married almost 16 years. May 17th will be 16 years. Why not? Why not just do it?
But with Penn and Teller standing literally 4 feet from me, and I got a pastor, I got a lady doing the lines, and I'm holding her hand and looking at her eyes. I just went zoom. It felt like
it was special.
It felt like wedding day again.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, I would shoot Penn and Teller, right? Wow, this is
amazing.
This is wow. Yeah, that's all I could. Yeah. But also,
awesome.
it was very sentimental, very loving,
was.
very. They mentioned Lana. They mentioned the kids. She mentioned Willow.
Yeah.
She mentioned our life on the road and how
Yeah.
special it was to be with them and Penn and Teller in the same room. It was just
she did an amazing
It was
job,
awesome.
and it was sweet and beautiful, and I loved every second. It was an awesome night. And had Penn and Teller said, nah, I don't think we want to do it, I don't know that we would have gone and renewed our vows.
we didn't have time.
Right.
The next day was loaded with Piff and
So,
Ray,
I
and the
mean,
next day after that was loaded.
The fact that they said yes to give me away, it was like, well, yeah, we're gonna do this, and this is just awesome. This is just a chance of a lifetime. I mean, who else can say that Penn and Teller gave you away? Nobody.
But,
no, but
when you see the video,
awesome.
Natalie comes in just grinning ear to ear.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, that makes me happy. That's what I love. I love seeing Natalie's face when she comes around the corner, because she is just lit up and she is glowing. She was just so freaking happy.
And they were so sweet. And, they each took a hand, and Penn was like, well, we're not going to fit together. And it's like, that's okay. You lead the way and we'll come in, and then we'll just stand side by side as we walk towards them. He was like, all right, let's do this. And it was just, I don't know, it was fun just chit-chatting, and then just, yeah.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was great.
The next morning we got up bright and early, and we met Dustin Marks. He's been on the podcast. He's the guy that took down Vegas for a couple $1 million or $20 million, whatever it was back in the 80s.
Yeah.
But its statute of limitations is over, so you can talk about it now. And he's a magician. He's working on his own one-man show right now in Vegas. And he used to do hikes in Vegas, where he had 52 hikes planned. You get a deck of cards when you completed all of them. But every time you got to the peak, he'd give you another playing card. And
these aren't just regular hikes. Rock scrambling, and sometimes even more difficult than just rock scrambling. So we told him ahead of time, look, I don't mind rock scrambling, but I don't want to fear for my life. I don't want to be jumping over cliffs. I don't want to be hanging off the side of a mountain. So he chose a good trail for us. There was 2 spots that I got a little nervous, because it was like straight down and you're scrambling.
A little nervous? I touched you and your whole body jumped.
That wasn't on that part, but that was on the way down. And okay. When you're going up, you're looking up. Okay. So I know that it's freaking scary. So I'm a little scared, but I don't have to look down. Now, when you're going down the mountain, you have to look where you're going, and you can see how straight down that mountain is. And that's just a wee bit more scary than going up the mountain. So
I said, hey, Natalie, look at that view. I just barely touched her whole body shook.
Yeah, well, I was a little tense. I was a little nervous. What do you want? But it was fun. Yeah, I had a good time. I got a little nervous in a couple spots, but I had a good time.
And he was a great host. He was a great tour guide.
And he
gave
was
good
amazing tips. And, he was like, if you need it, I have this mesh rope where we can put you in. You're not going to fall. But I didn't need that. I was fine.
He talked you through your fear part.
Yep. And I got down. I was just fine. I was really glad that we did it. It was a lot of fun. The views were amazing. It was beautiful.
I'm on top of a mountain, and Penn texts me and says, hey, Wes, you still feel married? Oh, man, Penn's texting. Hold on, guys. Yeah. And I'm texting, but I had no cell service. So I texted him back, but I don't know when he got it, what part of the mountain. And then I said, hey, I'm going to send you some pictures from last night as soon as we get off the mountain. And I did. And I thought that was it. Not until I got home 2 days later did I see, in between all of that, Penn said that it was such an honor to be, let me see if I can find it real quick. Penn said it was such an honor to be a part of that last night. And it was so, wow. And I missed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't find it. But yeah, it was so awesome. We got to the top of the mountain, and you got to sign the little book. Yeah,
so you sign in when you make it to the tippy top of the mountain. They have a little book in a like a, what do you call it? A gun case type thing, but that's not the right word.
An ammo case.
An ammo case. There you go. And they have it in a little crevice under a rock, but you take it out and it has a little book, and you just sign your name on there and write whatever you want to write, and put the date on there so that you made it to the top. And we took some pictures, and we took a little break, and then we started on the way down, and it was really a lot of fun. I was sore because rock scrambling, one, you're not used to that. That's a good workout that you're using muscles you don't normally use. And 2, I got a little scared at a couple points, so I know I was tense. No. And so on top of all that, I was sore. I was hurting for a few days after that. Every time I'd sit down and then like have to get up and be like, oh, but it was worth it. It was really, really fun.
We went out to lunch afterwards and she was walking into the restaurant. Uh-oh, I'm hurting already. This is going to be bad.
Bad. Yeah. You're hurting just like 30 minutes after you finish the hike. You know, the next day is going to be worse.
But I found the text from Penn. I told him, I said, we're on top of the mountain. I'll send you some pictures later. He always does the peace sign. So I took a picture of me on the mountain with the peace sign. He said, have fun, baby. We were so honored to be a part of last night. You guys are great. It was just, wow.
Very sweet.
Wow.
That's
They're so awesome. I'm telling you.
They're great guys.
And then we went home and took a nap.
We did, because we had stayed up the night before.
Susan
after
and
we
Jeff?
renewed our vows, we went back to the hotel room, and Susan and Jeff had gotten us champagne, and we all four sat down and enjoyed a little champagne and just chit-chatted and
just recapped how amazing that night was.
Yeah. And I think we stayed up till probably about 2 a.m, and then we had to get up
I don't remember.
at like 8:30, I think, which isn't too bad. 8:30, something like that. I mean, that's not too bad, but when you go rock scrumming, you're using a lot of energy. So the fact you didn't get a full night's sleep, plus we've been going all week long, and at this point it's starting to catch up. So we had to take a little nap after rock scrambling. And then
Go ahead. We had dinner with Wynn.
Yeah. Then that night we went out and had dinner with Wynn, our badass bounty hunter friend, as Wes says.
You can check her out. She's been on the podcast a few times.
Yeah.
She's love Wynn.
She's an awesome lady. Yeah. So it was really fun to see her and hang out with her and just chit chat and catch up. Yeah, we went out and had a sushi dinner. Love some sushi.
And she found a really great sushi place right next to it was really close to the Rio.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Then the next day, last day, full day there.
We slept in a tad, but not too late.
And Ray recommended us going to that illusion museum. He said, it's really cool. It's really great. Okay, we have nothing to do, really. Let's go figure it out. Because we were going to go see Copperfield that night.
Yeah.
But we had the whole day wide open.
Right. So we decided to go do that. And it's called Paradox Museum. So you just go in and they have neat little illusion things. And I think both that were his favorite were the ones where it made me look tiny and him look huge, because that's just the opposite of what we are. So
the couch was my favorite picture, though.
Oh, the couch. Yeah. The couch where I had to sit down in the couch. So my upper half was showing, and then just his legs were. You have to put the picture.
It looks like we were sawed in half, and she's like a Beetlejuice character.
Yeah.
You know, the lady sitting on the couch and the legs are doing this beside her.
Yeah.
What are they called? Like cross leg, and she's like twitching her front leg.
Okay. Yeah.
You remember that lady sawed in half in Beetlejuice in the waiting room?
Not really.
That's what this couch is like. It
Yeah.
creates that illusion.
Yeah, it's neat.
But the museum was so much fun.
Different things. Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah.
It was very neat. It was fun to go through.
And then he's like, well, what are you doing? What else you got going on today? I said, Ray, we're going to see Copperfield tonight. Oh, well, you're right next to Nathan Burton's show. Why don't you go see him? What time's his show? He said, I think it's at 4:00.
And it was 1:30, and we walked over to see where it was, and he had a 2:00 and a 4:00. So we were like, well, let's go to the 2:00.
Because we're right here.
Yeah. We got like front row seats, which was awesome.
I bought VIP. The best seats in the house.
Yeah. Well, you let me choose what seat. You said pick whatever. I said, okay, let's go up front. What good view.
Let me tell you, Nathan Burton show. I start out my show with a joke. Like what do you call it though? Where you make fun of yourself? I can't think of the word. Anyway, yeah, just to bring myself down. I do something really cool, something fails, and then whatever.
It didn't really fail. Yeah.
And it's a joke.
Yeah.
And then I go into producing a dove out of Play-Doh, which is wow. And then I get into the show. 15 illusions in the first 10 minutes of the show.
Oh my goodness, just bam, 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 knocking them out. We're like, wow.
I told my brother.
This is a great, like, what do you call intro?
He hasn't said hi to the audience. He hasn't said, hey, I'm Nathan Burton. He hasn't done anything. It's just been action-packed 10 minutes.
Like,
you haven't had a chance to take a breath.
Awesome. Yeah.
And I told my brother it was like watching a firework display in reverse. He did the boom, 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 boom at the very beginning.
Yeah.
But the show didn't lackluster after that.
No, it was a great way to start the show.
What a hell of an opening.
But he kept up the pace, and it was just, yeah.
Wow.
It was a really good show. So if you Yeah, go see a Nathan Burton show if you're in Vegas. It's really good.
And then afterwards, I'm like, hey, I'm a magician. I'd love to get a picture with him. He's like, we got another. His wife said we have another show like right now. He's resetting all those illusions right now.
We just don't have time to meet and greet after 2 o'clock. But after the 4 o'clock, he'll be out. Okay.
Okay. So we'll just stay close. So right down the street, they had a Stranger Things pop-up display building. We don't know Stranger Things. We've seen one episode. We just don't have time, especially with the babies, to watch TV. And something like that we'd want to watch together.
Yeah.
But we don't have time to watch anything together, really.
I know. We've started like 3 different shows and haven't finished one.
Right. So we go downstairs. There's no cellular reception.
Right.
So we go downstairs and we start taking pictures of all kinds of different merch.
Yeah.
And we say, hey, we'll get Lana and Willow, because they're watching it together. We'll get them some souvenirs from vacation.
Yeah.
So we go upstairs and then text them and call them and say, hey, look, we found this really cool place. What do you guys want? So then they picked some stuff out. Then we went back downstairs and bought all the stuff and took pictures for the girls.
Yeah.
And then came back upstairs. We did some shopping. We went to the M&M store.
And the Coca-Cola one.
The Coca-Cola store. We did some other shopping. We got more and more shopping done.
No.
So my arms are loaded with bags at this point.
Yeah.
And
then we went back and saw and met Nathan Burton. Did a little meet and greet afterwards.
It was so awesome. So
very,
great.
Very nice.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to. I said, hey, Ray Lum sent me. He said, I'm going to go see Ray right now. And then we talked and talked and talked. He said, well, if you talk to Ray, the reason I'm late to his house is because I'm hanging out with you so long. I'll text him. I'll let him know.
It's like, yeah.
It was awesome. But Nathan Burton, amazing. Awesome
really
show.
Sweet guy and a really good show. Yeah.
After that, we go see Copperfield. No, we go home and drop all those bags off.
We had all those bags. We're like, is this ridiculous to take an Uber back to Rio and drop off the bags and then come back? I was like, I don't think so. I think it's worth it because, I mean, oh my gosh.
So
we bought more stuff for the kids while they're not with us than we do when they're on vacation with us. It's ridiculous.
So a $20 Uber, $25 Uber back, and then $20 Uber back to Copperfield.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get there, it's about time for the show to start.
Yeah.
And I text Copperfield's main guy, Chris Kenner, and I'm like, hey, we're here. Hey, it's awesome. I'd like to meet Copperfield tonight if you can arrange that. And he said, come here.
Yeah, next thing you know, he was out by our table.
Hey, what's up? He said, come here. And he radios somebody and he gets us front row seats. And he said, bring your friends with you. Because we were sharing a booth with somebody else and we were making small talk.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, I don't know these people.
He
said, no, it's great. Just bring them, though. Okay. All right. Okay. I didn't want him to think that I'm trying to get 5 people backstage or 4 people backstage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just want me and Natalie to see. I'm not trying to step on any toes or anything, but I don't want to overstretch an ass.
And they were excited because it was a mom and a son, and it was the son's birthday. So like, this is an awesome birthday gift.
How cool is it to know famous people? Who are you? I didn't want to tell them I did magic. I don't want to do that in a magic show. No. I don't want to. Yeah. And I was just like, I know Chris and whatever. I know the manager. I know I know his right hand man. That's all I said. So Copperfield show. What did you think?
It was great. It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
The guy I was with last time, I was in awe. Copperfield, grew up loving Copperfield. And the guy I was with last time was like, he's kind of schmaltzy for me. I'm like, dude, Copperfield does vignettes. Everything is a small play, like a little snippet of a movie, right? Yeah. That has a story.
And he does kind of still have the old school of, you do something and then you go like this. And then the pause happens, but that's how he came up, that's just him. That's part of, I don't know. I don't see that as schmaltzy. That's just David Copperfield. But it was a good show.
He makes a huge, huge UFO appear in the middle of the room.
I mean, and it's like seriously right above your head. It's so close.
He makes
you feel like it's not quite low enough to touch it, but
boy, it looks like he jumped.
Like you could. Yeah. If you stood up, you might be able to, but they don't want you to do that. But I mean, it was cool. And the end of the show, the boys would have loved the end of the show. The end of the show, he produces. Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah. Can you imagine taking the boys to that show?
Oh, they would be just roaring after the show for hours.
They would be growling back at him.
Because at the end of the show, he makes this huge T-Rex skeleton appear, and it just roar, and his tail's going back and forth, and he's just roaring at the audience. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they would love it.
So the production box, if you know magic, it looks like the one that Nathan Burton does to produce 4 Girls, right? It's a box with not even plexiglass on the side. It's just a frame, and they drop the cloth. And when they lift up the cloth, a big freaking dinosaur pops out of both sides.
Yeah, and it was really neat. It was very, very cool. So, and that was the finale.
That was awesome. That was awesome. But then getting to hang out with Copperfield and going back to see Copperfield, they gave us little badges to go back. We're in line waiting. And Copperfield, I guess Chris had said something to him. And Copperfield says, "So do I know you?"
Yeah.
I wish you did. I don't know that you do. We've been introduced before, but I don't know. I fooled Penn Teller. They're doing my trick in the show.
Oh, yeah,
hey, guess what?
I think he said, oh, yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
I was in such a...
Yeah, he said, oh, yeah.
And I said, we just got remarried, and they gave my wife away. You got a second? And then I'm like, I'm on vacation. I got a million pictures. And then I start finding it. I start showing him.
He's like, oh, wow, that's cool.
And then we took pictures. And that was it. That's really all we got.
And you get a signed 8x10.
Yeah, we both did.
Yep.
And then
you walk up a hallway and you just wait while everybody else gets their turn with Copperfield.
And there's probably 15 people behind us getting pictures and time with Copperfield as well. And then at the end of the hall, Copperfield does a trick for everyone, which was different in 2022 when I went. I had to hold a table, and the lady across from me held the table, and we did a trick. So I got to assist Penn, and I got to assist Copperfield.
Very cool.
So I'm holding the table, I'm doing all this, and we did the magic trick. Yay, it's great. And Copperfield, you're awesome. Good job. And then he thanks everybody, and then he looks at us and says, hey, congratulations, you two. Whatever. And then that was it. That was it. Good night. Bye.
Yeah.
And that was our time with Copperfield.
Yeah.
Wish I could have had more time with him.
It was very neat. Yeah. But no.
Beggars can't be choosers. No. Man. I got to hang out with Copperfield. I got to get pictures and whatever.
Yep.
The next morning, we get up super early because we have to catch the flight home. And I'm like, do everything you can to pack everything we got. I mean, we must have 50 bags of souvenirs.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, all right, well, we know where she bought the dress. They sell luggage. We'll just buy some more luggage. Do everything you can. We'll buy some more luggage.
And I was like, no, it can't be that much. I mean, it's a lot of clothes, like sweatshirts and t-shirts and things, but a couple other things too. And I was like, we'll pack our, carry-ons. We'll pack our personal. Like I had a larger personal bag that still fit under the seat, but I can pack it with stuff. And so we both packed the heck out of the carry-ons and then stuffed. We shared one suitcase to check. Stuffed that thing, and I was like, all right. And we have a little scale for the suitcase, and it has to be 50 pounds or less, or you're gonna pay extra. And I was like, try. And it was like 52. I was like, okay. All right, take out a couple more things. We can squeeze a couple more things into our carry-on. And we did, and we got it down to like 49.8.
So she took out 2 sweatshirts. You took it out. Yeah. So she wore one around her waist.
And I wore one, and then I wrapped one around my waist.
And that was it. We're done. We got it.
So
then the only other thing I want to talk about is on the plane ride home, we had the back seat. You couldn't get any further back.
We're next to the second flight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so the steward, what do you call it?
Flight attendant.
The flight attendant says, hey guys, how was your trip? And you live here? I was like, yeah. And
just chit chatting. Well, I mean, because it takes forever for the plane to unload.
And I said, hey,
all the way back.
I said, hey, you want to see something cool? We just got back from Vegas, and Penn Teller gave my wife away at our, wedding renewal.
Yeah.
And I started showing him pictures. He says, wow, that is so awesome. Wow. He said, hold on. And he reaches and gets me a thing of cookies, and it was like 50 different packs of those little cookies they give out on the flights. Yeah. I wish I had more to give you guys as newlyweds, but that's all I have. This was an express flight.
So all they had were those cookies and little bottles of water. That's all they could give out. Like they didn't have, I think he was thinking like little alcohol bottles or something. They didn't serve any of that because it was a 1-hour flight.
But I wasn't asking for cookies. I wasn't asking for anything. I was just telling a cool story.
Yeah.
I'm still on cloud 9.
That's so sweet.
Crazy. So I have a picture of me with like 50
Yeah.
cookies in a bag.
Lana was excited. She was like, yes, those things are great. So
Anyway, all
Yeah.
right. We went over our time tonight, guys.
Yes, we
but
did.
guess what?
we had an awesome
We were
trip.
excited.
Yeah.
It
It was
was
a
amazing.
really good trip. We had a lot of fun.
So we have a lot of pictures to put in this episode. We
Yeah.
have a lot of we even have the wedding video we can put up
Yeah.
on the podcast group. So check that out.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Nothing else to say, but see you next week.
Check us out online at wesiseli.com and patreon.com/Wes_Iseli for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled Wesiseli.